outside of San Francisco, to the Presidio to be exact. Now, the Presidio used to be a military base that was restored and turned into housing and the home of some of the most prestigious companies in the US. Wait, what? That's right, the Presidio is home to Lucasfilm and Industrial Light and Magic, the folks behind Star Wars. This beautiful park is part of the grounds and leads us to our main highlight of the week. Now, I'm currently surrounded by some of the most gorgeous and awe-inspiring art within the city of San Francisco, the Palace of Fine Arts Theater. It's 17 acres of beauty built for the 1915 Panama Pacific Exposition to exhibit works of art taking its inspiration from both Roman and Greek architecture. Why did I pick the Palace of Fine Arts? Because it's literally a hidden gem. You can't really see it unless you're at Industrial Light and Magic or you're really close to it. Trees and overpasses hide it from view. But once you start walking down the steps, you realize that it is this giant, awe-inspiring work of art nestled across from $10 million homes. There are wedding photos almost every time we've been here going on, and for good reason. The atmosphere is serene and breathtaking. Take a moment and breathe it in. Speaking of breathtaking, one of the most newsworthy VR games of the year released at the end of March. It's called Star Trek Bridge Crew, and unlike most VR games, it's a social game that you play with friends. You can play across PSVR, Vive, and Oculus. Now, this game was made by Ubisoft and is sold in the neighborhood of 60,000 units, being split down the middle between PSVR and Steam. In the game, players take one of the various roles of a starship and have to work together in order to beat the story and procedurally generated missions. It's one of those rare games like Rock Band where the people playing transcend something more than the sum of the parts. You start to work as a real team, anticipating what needs to be done next and doing your job to the best of your ability, because if you don't, your mission's over. And while I very much want to let more people know about this game, and if you have any of the big three of VR units to pick it up, it does allow us a gateway into today's news topic, the future of PSVR. Now, the PlayStation VR has sold over 1 million units, with the majority being the $599 each for the bundle that comes with the headset, camera, and Move controllers. Now, let's assume for the sake of argument that half of the numbers sold were at $499, the other half sold at $599. That's $249.5 million for the $499 version and $299.5 million for the $599 version. Combined together is a total of $549 million. Now, Sony has sold over 52 million PlayStation 4s, and they've made somewhere around 16.5 billion with a B on those units sold. So 1 million PSVRs accounts for just 2% of their install base. The Sega CD, long considered to be the worst failure of an add-on device to the Sega Genesis, had a 6.5% attach rate. Sony has said they will be happy if over the lifetime of the unit they reach into the high single-digit percentiles for the PSVR. But will they? I don't think so. The sales of PS4s are not slowing down, and that means that PSVR sales would have to outpace PS4 sales in order for them to ever make gains. Now, $550 million added to your bottom line in approximately 3 months from October to the beginning of the year, it was released mid-October, does make one thing that supporting the device would be a priority for the company. But is it? convincing developers to make experiences and games for something that just 2% of the total PS4 market will ever experience, when they could be programming for the PS4 and accessing 100% of its potential sales, it seems like an odd pitch for Sony to make. Arguably, the strongest games slated for the year are already out, between Star Trek Bridge Crew and Farpoint. There is a little light at the end of the tunnel for PSVR. It's easy to port games from the PC to the PSVR, so I'm not saying that software sales are going to dry up anytime soon. What I'm saying is that Sony has a history of not necessarily supporting these devices the way they are. While I hope that's not the case, as we see here, we'll find out as time goes on. Today's story is about Daniel, our creative director. Now, Daniel and I have known each other for almost 20 years now, and when we met, we were fast friends. I was co-owner and manager of a comic shop at the time, and he would work for me from time to time when his schedule allowed or we needed help. As we became fast friends, fast food, namely Chick-Fil-A, was something we discovered a shared passion for. Now, while I actually have multiple stories about the most likely illegal transportation of Chick-fil-A across state lines on multiple occasions, today I want to tell you about the most famous Chick-fil-A caper I've ever undertaken. The store was named 10th Penny. That's the comic shop that I co-owned with a friend. And we were located in Omaha, Nebraska, where there were no Chick-fil-A's. But my business partner, Dave, and I were headed to a show in Maryland where there were plenty of Chick-fil-A's. And Daniel had asked for two things from me while he watched the store and we were gone. The first thing was to bring him back Chick-fil-A, as I'd done in the past, and to get him something signed from the Comic-Con that we were going to. We took 3 days to travel out there by vehicle, and eventually we got to the convention. I ended up with most of the day to myself on the show floor, and I suddenly hatched an idea in my brain. What if I got Daniel a Chick-fil-A bag signed and sketched on by all the most famous comic artists and writers? I ran to Chick-fil-A, bought Daniel's sandwich, and took the bagged meat and bread and stood in line after line after line for 8 hours. Now, every single person that I finally got up to the front of the line and had them sign it thought it was hilarious. The late Michael Turner thought it was the most hilarious thing he'd ever heard of. And he was laughing so hard when he helped me take it to CGC, which is the comics grading company. They're very serious comic graders. And we were trying to see if they would allow us to, they actually press comics between plexiglass and remove all the air, vacuum sealing it. We wanted to find out if they would actually allow us to press the sandwich between two panes of plexiglass. And he was laughing so hard, he was crying. They would not, no matter how much we laughed about it, and he doodled the most appropriate real estate of the bag for him, and it took us 2 more days to return back to the shop. Now, Daniel was pumped when we got back. I acted like I was busy as we unloaded things from the truck, and I didn't know anything. And as we kept carrying stuff in, he started helping us, and as we finished the last load of goods, he started to look a little disappointed. And I said, "Daniel, what's wrong?" And he said, "Did you bring me any Chick-fil-A?" And I said, "Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. We didn't have time." And I could just see his face drop visibly at that point. And I was just trying to hold it together. And I produced the bag from behind my back. And I said, "Really? Have I ever failed to bring you Chick-fil-A?" And he got super excited and he went to grab it and open it and eat the sandwich. But then I told him the catch. I said, "I have to warn you, it's covered in valuable art signatures, so if you open it, it will no longer be mint condition." He debated for a while, but eventually he ate the sandwich. Spoiler, it was delicious. And now he has the wrapper framed on his wall in his home. Did you like that story of adventure? Because today, July 25th, 2013, marked the beginning of an adventure called Dragon's Crown in Japan. A very beautiful, hand-drawn, although somewhat controversial for its art style, side-scrolling adventure with online co-op. Now, the interesting thing about Dragon's Crown is it was the first game to feature seamless cross-saving and cross-loading with the Vita. And this actually became the blueprint that all other plays between the Vita and console would take on for how it managed saves and retrieve saves from the cloud. What's your favorite adventure? If you could have anything signed that you own, what would it be? Let us know in the box below. Let us know what you like, what you dislike, where you think we should go next, and what you think about the future of the PSVR in the comments. Patrons over at patreon.com/gamersledge get first dibs on suggestions for where we shoot and what we do, so head on over there if you'd like to support us. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit that bell if you're on YouTube so that you get notification when we put out the next video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, game on!